Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? We are kicking with the crew. It's me, your boy Leroy. You got my guy Trev here with me.
What's up? What's up, man?
Welcome in, everybody, tonight. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. We get this thing shared around, but hope you guys enjoyed the new intro. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in.
Yeah, bro. Shout out to Joey Carr and the whole ZTV graphics team making us cool intros and stuff. We always appreciate them. But yeah, man, weekend's on, college football's on. I'm here in my new house. If y'all can't tell by a little bit of the background, like finally getting settled in over here in Texas. So yeah, all is well over here, bro.
There you go. There you go. How you liking Texas so far?
Honestly, so far, people are right. People are right about everyone talks a big game about Texas. It's nice over here, bro. Like
Yeah.
streets, you can drive 75 down the road, not have to worry about cops. Everyone's been nice so far. It's clean, safe as far as I can tell. So yeah,
You feel
I'm
it's
liking it,
clean.
man. Yeah, it's clean. It's clean. So
It's
yeah, I mean we live in a nice area over here, but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I've been here about a week. Move in was super easy, so no complaints here.
Oh yeah, there you go, bro. That's what you like to hear. You love to see it, man. So happy for you. Uh
Appreciate it.
it's not saying, I don't know why it's saying Facebook user. But this is Stacy. Appreciate you for coming in, Stacy.
Welcome, welcome.
Um but yeah, man, me, I'm still in the same house as you guys can see, but like Trev said, we got college football Saturdays going. Trev and Damon's team did take an L today. The Miami Hurricanes. It
Not my
wasn't
team.
so no, I said
We're in it right now. But
no,
Zach
no,
and
Zach
Damon,
and
yeah.
Damon. Yeah, Zach and Damon. And then my
Y'all
Gators
boys
took the L
Miami.
today, lost to Texas.
Delta ass.
Got stomped in. But it's all good. I'm not too upset about it. We were injured beyond belief. Even if we weren't injured, I don't know how much of a chance we had, but I know we would have damn sure had a better chance than what we saw today.
Yeah.
But again, our Colts take the L. Week 9. Flacco gives us the best chance to win. We
That's
lose
what
to
they said.
Minnesota.
That's what they said. Best chance.
We lose to Minnesota. Our defense absolutely balled out. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, we gave up 21 points in the second half, but our defense absolutely went bonkers throughout the game. And I mean, if I wanted to pose this as a question to whoever was going to be on the show. I'm kind of mad that everybody wasn't isn't here just so I could ask. But look, put it like this, Trev. If I told you the Colts in the first half of this game had what was it? I want to say it was three sacks or two
Mhm.
sacks, a forced fumble, a touchdown, an interception, and gave up 0 points. What would be your reaction?
I'd say we're here. I'd say we're in win now mode, right? I'd say we're going all the way. We just need an average quarterback play, an average offense, and we can go win. Because finally, the defense, after being our complaint for weeks now, finally the defense is on par. Lo and behold, the defense starts balling out, offense shits the bed. I mean, it's a tale as old as time with this team. Like it never seems like both units can be clicking at the same time, and it's so infuriating, man. I mean, we watched what I think was probably the best defensive performance of the season. Uh, I mean, we had one or two games that were played really well by the defense earlier this year, but this was probably their most convincing performance and where they look like the Colts defense of old that we expect, forcing turnovers, getting pressure, stopping the run. Like we couldn't ask for more. A donut in the first half, right? Not a single point given up. And yet still people would complain about the defense. So I have a miniature rant I want to get into here because when we look at the second half, right, they gave up 21 points. Obviously, we ended up losing the game, et cetera, et cetera. I want everyone who has a complaint about the defense, beyond just Gus Bradley, I understand that, but this particular performance, we have to look at time of possession. We are the worst time of possession team in the NFL by like a long shot, I believe. Like,
Let me cut you off real quick.
Go ahead.
So when Anthony Richardson was a starter, we were also ranked about 32nd in time of possession. Anthony Richardson on the bench this past week, we went even lower.
It's insane. It's insane. And you know what it is? I'm not saying Richardson would have fixed that particular part because even when Richardson is in and even when he does well, a lot of the times when he scores, it's those big shot plays. But he's capable of doing those, right? Joey Flacco, at least what we saw this past week, can't hit him. Can't get anything going, really. So I don't – that's a whole nother discussion, obviously, that we've had a couple of times now. But just looking at the time of possession, man, we have to find a way with our genius, offensive minded, play calling head coach to put up drives together, man. Control the ball for a little bit. Even if we're only getting a field goal, that is, if Matt Gay can hit the fucking thing, even if
So, yeah,
we're,
that
we're
too.
just getting a little bit, we have to put together drives to give our defense time to rest. That's the game within the game, right? And when you just go 3-and-out, 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 oh, we hit a big one play touchdown, 3-and-out, 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 your defense is exhausted because they're out there playing 3 times longer than anybody else in the freaking league. So at this point in the season, I have nothing bad to say about the defense. Yes, we've all had frustrations with Gus Bradley, but I don't even care. I don't even care right now because, like, how can you expect any level of success when you have those guys playing 45 minutes a game? It's ridiculous.
You know your team is starting to show some major flaws when you start to move Gus Bradley down to the bottom of the list
I
of issues
swear.
you
I
have.
swear. It's yeah.
Um,
I would love to. I would love to go back to complaining about Gus, but it's like, how can we? How can
I
we?
mean,
When we look at the position we put the defense in, it's terrible.
exactly. We got it's saying Facebook user, so excuse me to everybody out there, but I will read names out just so you guys can get your credits for your questions or comments. But we got John Gibson here. He's saying here, just put Richardson in, sink or swim. We also got Nathan in here. Appreciate you, Nathan. You're regular coming in here. He says, man, bench Flacco. He's a bum. He also said, I'm sorry, Flacco needs to retire. We got Ash, our girl Ash is coming in and comes here. She says, why don't we put AR in? He's not the problem.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean that just goes to a bunch of what Trev said. You know, like to me, I just thought it was crazy to see the things that we saw. Joe Flacco throwing interceptions. Joe Flacco also missing a wide open Jonathan Taylor in the flats. Um, uh, um, Offensive line was kind of getting hammered. I mean, I kind of saw a little bit of that coming just because we were out with Bernard Ryman out with a concussion. Um, it's just we had some things, not really going our way. Michael Pittman Jr. still dealing with the back. He's obviously going to be out tomorrow with that back injury. And so we just had a lot going on. But what we were told, as you guys can see me and Trev's names down here, people were talking about Super Bowls. They were talking about we can win now. Joe Flacco gives us the best chance to win. But from what I'm seeing, it didn't look any different than what Anthony Richardson was giving us.
If anything, just
So
worse.
I mean, like I would have rather had 4 for 13 with 125 yards and a touchdown versus. He got over 50% completion percentage, so I guess some people were
Great.
happy there. I think he was like 16 for 27. So
Fantastic, dude. Yeah.
I mean,
It didn't matter.
yeah. So I don't know, man. And I also want to point out something that you said about the people who complain about defense. I thought it was hilarious, right? Because you know how I always come into the chat and I tell Matt how I complain about Rick Venturi, right? Former Colts coach and
Yeah.
an analyst, right? I thought it was crazy because I really been staying out of like probably pretty much all Colts chatter for like these last few weeks just because I really haven't been into it. Like
It's frustrating.
like with the wins and losses portion of it, I'm like I said, I'm just on the roller coaster. It is what it is. My emotions have really just started to slip from it. But yeah, I was expecting him to come in and kill Joe Flacco because of the completion percentage. The offense didn't look good. We can't run the ball with him in there. We get significantly worse. And he didn't go with Flacco. He immediately came out and started trashing Gus Bradley and the soft defense. And
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, there's no way in hell. He said that unless DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart come in and wreck the game, that's all we really had. I mean, these guys gave up 21 points, dude.
That's good enough to
I
win.
mean,
In this league, that is good enough to win. I'm sorry,
and
but it
and
is.
and he talk about not having a plan for Justin Jefferson. I really don't care. There was the play where Sam Womack got beat in the one-on-one,
Yeah.
and I'm like, Sam Womack has been solid for us, albeit we've played some bad quarterbacks. But it's like it's Justin Jefferson, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. I wanted to add to that too. By the way, what are we talking about? A plan for Justin Jefferson? You show me one guy, one defensive coordinator, one team that has a plan for Justin Jefferson, and you give that guy a $50 million lifetime contract. That he's unguardable. That's just how good he is. So if you
I
can
mean,
eliminate the rest of the team, like we kind of did, you have a chance to win. And our offense wasn't good enough. That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous the fact that he came in and said that. And I'm like, dude, you could put five guys on Justin Jefferson. There's still
It
times where
doesn't matter.
he's going to make the play. Like when
Yeah.
your defense gives you 21 points, 4 sacks, two interceptions. I mean, like, dude,
A defense. The only
a
touchdown that the
defensive.
Colts scored was from the defense, and we're sitting here talking about how bad the defense was. Like,
We didn't
how is
even
that
touch.
not a red flag?
We didn't even touch the red zone.
No,
Not
no.
once.
Well, we got the
I
one
mean,
field goal, but like whatever. Like that's not this. It's not. No points could be contributed to the offense for that previous game, and then we sit here and talk about defense. Like it's ridiculous. I feel like I'm watching like a Twilight Zone episode or something. Like, what are we talking about? The defense. Defense was fine. The offense is a serious issue. A
yeah,
serious
it
issue at
is.
this point.
It's
And that is too. Like
absolutely.
that kind of segues into my other little miniature rant that I've been having in my head. I wish I could have been on
Let me
last
let me
week.
go
We
let me
moving
go real
everything.
quick because I think you're about
Go
to
ahead.
jump into what one of these comments here. We got our guy Joshua Merchant who comes in here every week as well. Appreciate you. He said, "And how come we're not running the ball more? JT only had 14 carries last week." I'm pretty sure that's what you were about to jump into a little
So
bit
this is a
there.
part of it. This is a part of it, yeah. Because the issue is, right? Right now we do not have a quarterback identity. We have a quarterback crisis, whatever you want to call it, right? When
Mhm.
that's the case, you look to your running back, you look to your run game, especially, by the way, when your entire team is modeled to run the ball. We have offensive
Identity,
linemen that
identity.
yeah, we have offensive linemen that are built to go after guys and run the ball. We have a running back we just paid to keep in Indianapolis to run the ball, and we're barely using the guy. Like I don't understand the scheme here. I don't understand the offensive plan at all. We talked about throwing to score, running to win. We're not doing either. So I don't understand. And this all comes back to Shane, comes back to freaking Jim Bob Cooter, the most country sounding name in the NFL. It comes back to all these guys, and obviously Chris Ballard too. Like the whole chain of command here. What is going on with our offense? Because we were promised an exciting offense. It seems like we have the personnel to do it, and we can't execute anything. We go 3-and-out every drive. Like it's just unbelievable to me at this point.
Yeah, man, it's been pretty crazy. We also got Joshua Merchant saying here when you play AR and JT together, it creates more problems for the team because Flacco can't run. And this is the same problem we had when we had Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
I want to say when we have JT and Jonathan Taylor in the game, I think it was like 5.2 yards per carry we averaged. And when we have Flacco and JT or any other backs in there, I think it was like 3.3 yards per carry. Um, I think that goes back to what Trev was talking about. Like I think it's like one of those situations where I keep telling people that Shane Steichen keeps Frank Reiching us
yeah.
the last few weeks. It's like I don't understand with this team the way it's been built in the trenches, the way that we talk about how we want to be. We want to play physical. We want to be able to run the ball, stop the run. We want to be able to get sacks, create disruption on the defensive line. And for some reason, when we come out and play, our coaches don't play to those things.
No, at
Our
all.
coaches do not play to how we're built as a team. Like this team, even when we had our really solid defenses, we were built off takeaways. If
100%.
you're built
And
off
field position.
takeaways, then you would have immense talent if you're going to be built off of takeaways and not necessarily just stopping people. And it's just kind of crazy, man. It's like the same thing every week, and it's like we go back and we used to wonder why does Jonathan Taylor have 10 carries in an entire game? Well, it's like what much are we doing different now?
Not
It's
a
like
damn thing.
somebody posted on Twitter a page and they said, "What advice would you give Shane Steichen this week?" And I retweeted it and I'm like, "Stop overthinking the offense. Like it's not that complicated to run the ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter sometimes if you're just running against a brick wall. Run it, dude.
And
Run it."
I don't even fully understand that because even like last year with Shane, we didn't see offense this bad with Gardner Minshew running around and doing whatever. Like we had our frustrations and but overall we were a pretty average offense. And then we had times where we saw, plays and schemes and we're like, oh, that was really nice from Shane. That was totally different from Frank. And then it seems like this year he just threw out that playbook that might have even worked this year with Joe Flacco or however you want to do it. Threw everything out, and like we're literally, if you would have told me Frank Reich was calling last week's game or the week before, like I wouldn't be able to
I
tell
would have
unless I
believed
saw
it.
Shane on the side with his headset on, I would have believed you. I would have said, "Oh, Reich's back. Good for him.
for
He got a
sure.
job." Like I don't know, but
I would have believed it
there's
for
no
sure.
identity to this team anymore. It's oh my god, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, man, it's one of the things that really throw me off just because I just don't get why we do what we do. And just like you said, I think a lot of times, even when we think about some of the games with Minshew, our defense will play really well in those games. Or you would notice the games where we would lose or have bad games and whatnot, it would really be because we didn't run the ball or we couldn't run it
Yeah,
successfully because teams would stack the box. And so I just feel like more so the games that when we ran the ball and had successful days on the ground, and even not even merely just huge days, just better averages per carry. When you show teams you're willing to run the ball or you're going to run the ball,
yeah, they have to play
regardless
you
of what it
differently.
is, they have to adjust to you, and then you can open up some of those things. It also does
Yeah,
help that Gardner Minshew was a bit more. He was accurate, but I mean, even right now, Joe Flacco is supposed to be an accurate guy, and I mean, like,
that's
it
what they
doesn't
told
really make
us.
any
That is
difference.
what they told us.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
really make any difference if you cannot run the ball.
but then like this is what I'll come back to as well is I see a lot on social media. I see there's like two camps of Colts fans right now. There's the guys that wanted Joey Flacco to start, and then the guys now that are being really loud, taking victory laps. Like what you and I talked about, like saying, "Oh, Flacco sucks. Like we deserve this, whatever." Both sides, in my opinion, I feel like both sides are kind of missing the point here. In that, to me, I don't think it matters what quarterback plays because the offense is not correct. It's not like everything we've just talked about. It's not being done right. We aren't playing to people's strengths. We aren't setting up JT for success. We're not using our O line correctly. We're not doing anything to our personnel strengths. So to me, yes, obviously I want Anthony Richardson in. I want him to develop. I want him to be playing. I'd rather take the bumps with him than see what we saw last week. I don't care. But it doesn't make any sense anymore. Like you can put in any quarterback, and if we're running the offense this way in this right type of playbook, it doesn't matter. It's not going to succeed no matter what. Even when the defense balls out and scores for you, it's not going to matter because the offense is such a mess. And it's such a red flag for me because Shane Steichen was supposed to change the culture of this team, change the offense of this team, be this genius guy. And it's like, what's going on here? Do we have another Frank Reich or are you actually that? Like now that's where we're at. And in the second year of his tenure, it's not a great place to be.
I personally don't believe he is. I just think that he's just overthinking it. In my personal opinion, I just think he's overthinking the game. He's trying to outsmart the other coordinator a little bit too much instead of just doing what you want to do
Yeah.
with your offense, scheming up plays. You said you want to throw the score, run the win, and we're not
So let's
seeing
do
either
that.
of
Yeah.
those. And it looks like we're just throwing to throw because you want to throw.
Yeah.
And I kind of get what you said about either quarterback, but to me, it's like I would rather look like shit with a 22-year-old quarterback.
Me too. Me too. I don't
I
disagree
mean,
with that.
like,
I'm just saying, like,
I
that's not
just,
the core of the issue, right? Like, because
yeah,
people are making it quarterback versus quarterback, and to me, it's either quarterback can't succeed in this offense. That's the larger issue to me.
yeah, got you. What you there? Just like we got this is Nathan Comments here commenting. He's saying Carson Beck to back up AR next year and push AR. you sure
Carson
about
Beck,
you sure about that?
12 interceptions in the last 6 games. Carson Beck,
Yeah, no,
I gotta
Carson.
respectfully disagree, my friend.
I mean,
I don't want
I
Carson Beck in the shoe.
I mess with these guys in the group chat and some of the Colts fans across the platforms and stuff. But I really I don't see why it would matter what quarterback we have. Like I don't see we haven't handled a quarterback properly
Since
ever.
luck. Well, yeah, no,
I
not
mean, we
even. You're right.
didn't.
You're right.
I mean, ever,
Because we didn't set him
ever.
up for
I
success.
mean, we didn't make Elway come. I mean, we Hardball back in the day had a tap out too that nobody likes to talk about. He tapped out of a game because he was tired once as well. Peyton Manning, Jim Irsay, he let him walk because he said that he didn't want fans to boo him. Oh, Colts fans are going to boo the greatest quarterback in their history, arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. What do you know? I keep saying Colts fans are the worst. Andrew Luck couldn't even take care of him, forced him to play. Everybody talks about how tough Andrew Luck was. Guess what? You booed him out of the building too.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we finally get a replacement for Andrew Luck, or at least somebody that we want to replace Andrew Luck. And then Colts fans call for him to be bitch because he has some bad games. I mean, like, Look,
It's
man,
it's so frustrating, bro.
it's we put ourselves in these positions. I just don't really think that it matters whoever we put there at quarterback. It's like it's not for us to just be fans. Everybody wants to be the coach. They want to be the GM. They want to be the owner. We all want to dictate how things are moving. Um, and I feel like it's going to end up the same way regardless.
It's genuinely at the point where like I mean you know me long enough. I try to be very optimistic. I hate being a Debbie Downer, especially about football because it's a game and it's fun and everything. But man, it's to the point where I'm like, I don't know if this franchise is really gonna have a shot to be competitive until Ursay gives up the job, until he lets his daughters take over. Like that might be the saving grace at this point. I don't know, but like that's the next stage in this franchise where I think actual change could happen. And I mean, again, I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer. Maybe I'm over exaggerating it, and it could turn around in the next months or years or whatever. But man, that like where we're at right now, that's what it feels like. And that's it's just not a fun spot to be in.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know if that would change it because of the fact that like a GM is only doing so much of his job. It's like, are we really controlling what he's doing? We picking and choosing when we want him to GM, making decisions, choosing where we're going to go with what position, um, or the GM is just a guy that's going to go out and get you old talent from everywhere, or a GM that's not necessarily building up on the defensive side of the ball, or a GM that doesn't care for free agents. Like we like our guys. We're gonna we think they can only trend up, or there's nothing more to do. I honestly couldn't tell you, Colts fans. All I know is I truly believe we got the curse. I believe the organization is cursed. I believe we have the quarterback curse. Um, until Peyton lifts it, I think that's going to be there. But at the same time, I think that until we start recognizing that, like, we got to have some patience. We got to relax as fans. We got to support who's there, and we can't sit here and down out everybody. I remember I was one of the guys who wanted to keep Carson Wentz, and the entire fan base
Me too.
was out on him. Like, I would kill for a Carson Wentz right now.
Yeah. And say what you will about the guy, he was a
Um,
wild quarterback. I understand. Well, still is. I believe he's the backup for the Chiefs right now, if I'm not mistaken.
he is.
So
He
he's still
is.
bouncing around doing his thing, but wild quarterback, right? Made some crazy decisions, but like he had the attitude, he had the fight, and sometimes every once in a while he'd give you a really good performance. So I mean, yeah,
Hey,
I was in that same boat where I would have gave him another year. Obviously, that's bygone history and everything, but I agree with you.
I mean, hey, the Colts organization did it themselves. Philip Rivers wanted to stay another year. We said no. We're going to move on to Carson Wentz. So I mean, like, it's not just us Colts fans. So I'm not trying to put us all on us. We make no decisions, but it's also the organization too. We just
Yeah.
do not handle the situation correctly. Um, but it just sucks to be in a position that we're in because me personally, at least I would rather say like, hey, look, my guy sucks, but he's only 22, and I'm going to give him time to get better. I think he can get better. I think he's shown things in games that you can continue to build up on, and if he continues to work and get better, he will build upon those things. Um, but like I said, I don't know. Like the reason I'm just like so breathless about it is just because my emotions for it is gone. I am just
Yeah.
ready to
Yeah.
see where the roller coaster ends. Because like is it going to keep going on for years? Are we going to finally build around AR? Are we going to move on and Joe Flacco's our guy until he's 45? Can he pull a Tom Brady? Like I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. Um, but it's rough, man. It's rough.
It sucks because it's like ever since they made that decision to bench AR and go with Joe Flacco, it kind of like, at least for me, it kind of sucked the air out of the room. And again, I always try to be optimistic. So I'm like, maybe, I mean, we had this conversation where I'm like, maybe they're right. Let's see. Let's see if Joe Flacco is actually this, MVP vet that gives us a win now chance. If that, because that's what they're all standing up at the pulpit saying. And clearly that's not the case. So it's just like, it sucked the air out of the season, man. Like, we got a big matchup against the Bills tomorrow. And I'm just like, man, I know it's going to be the same thing. Like I'm going to watch. I'm still going to watch, but it's hard to get amped up about anything when you kind of know the product that you're going to get, and it's really not fair to the fan base. I mean, it's just It's obviously not fair to AR. I don't know. It's just such a shitty spot to be in, man.
For sure. And they make sure we stay in the shitty spot, to be honest with you. We got a question here coming here from Ash. You're saying, how is MPJ hurt? He's hurt because he should have been on IR, or at least they thought about putting him on IR. He has a back injury. It's been going on for weeks now, and he's just been fighting through the pain. So, pretty much kind of ruled him out for this week, not wanting to make it any worse. um, Nathan is saying here, Ballard done after this season, maybe Shane too. I mean, it's purely speculation. I mean, like I don't know. I was talking to these guys in our group chat like a week ago, and I was just saying like I think Ballard should be gone for the simple fact that it's been 8 years.
Yeah.
Um, and what do? We go best case scenario, we go 8-9, 9-8, possibly make the playoffs or miss, and he comes back to the podium and say that wasn't good enough. That's on me. He gives us the same thing that he gives us every single year.
Yeah.
Then it's like, the other scenario, we make the playoffs and it's like, well, okay, Joe Flacco made it to the playoffs. We go another year, we wait, we come back and we open up week 1 and say AR has a bad game and we're like, we still don't know what we have in our quarterback and it's been 3 years.
Insane.
So yeah, guys, like I said, we are on the roller coaster. We are like right in the middle of it. We are like exactly where you do not want to be. It's like you have a quarterback and don't know if you have one, or you don't have one at all and you don't know when you're going to get one. And those are the two places that you really don't want to be.
And it's crazy because, like you said, this is one of the worst spots to be in as a franchise. And the franchise chose to put itself in this spot. We don't have to do this. And we didn't have to do it from the start. But we're doing it. And it's very clear that they're doing it the rest of the season. And I just don't get why we're talking about wins anymore. It's clear this team is not ready to actually contend. So what the fuck are we talking about? Not to use graphic later, but what are we doing, man? Like, put the kid in. He's like last season, we didn't get to see him develop because he's injured. That's the situation being forced upon you. Now he's fully healthy, and I would have understood if last game was like some kind of punishment thing for the tap out, whatever. I don't really care, but like if that's what it was, sure. No, this is an all season long thing. Why? What are we talking about? What are we doing? Like, we're not in a win now position. I know it's been said, but it just, man, it doesn't make any sense.
And that's exactly why I said the team made a mistake. As soon as they decided to bench him, I said, look, and I also want to put this out there, everybody. AR has also put himself in this position.
Agreed.
I just want to say this to everybody. Last year when he had the shoulder surgery, I'm not saying this is his fault, but he didn't get the offseason to get better. He had to rehab the entire offseason. So he didn't get to work on accuracy. He didn't get to work on timing. He didn't get to work on doing things as far as being in the game quarterback stuff, the things that he needed to work on and get better. So there's that. But now we need to remember that he put himself here, things such as tapping out, doing all the podcasts that he was doing in the off season, all this other type of stuff to put himself in position rather than continuously just staying quiet and getting better. Now, with the tap out, I just feel like if they would have came out and simply said Anthony Richardson is being benched for the week for conduct detrimental to the team.
Ooh.
That would have set the standard there, saying, hey, as a leader, this is what's not allowed. That would have set a tone. That would have let all fans know that, yes, we love Anthony Richardson, but we're not going to allow BS. From a coaching staff, from a front office, from a team standpoint, like you're still the guy, but we need you to be a little bit more mature. No more tap outs, no more playing dead after plays, no more of any of the BS. Like that would have set the tone for everybody. But this whole we're moving forward with Flacco for the season, like that gives nobody answers.
No.
None. This
and
team, our best chance for win now was with Rivers and Wentz, and we didn't do it.
yeah,
That was the time.
that was the win now team. Yeah,
That was the time. This is build your young guy.
yeah.
Now we're
And
just now we're
if there
just
was
wasting
ever
time.
if there was ever a time that we need transparency from the coaching staff in the front office, especially Chris Ballard and even Jim Irsay, now would be the time. But it's like everyone is giving these very scripted answers, which is really concerning to me because it's like, well, what else is going on behind the scenes where you guys have to give these like political answers about the quarterback switch? Like what's happening back there? Because now, to me as a fan, I want to know, why are we benching our 22-year-old who we picked with the fourth pick overall just 2 years ago? Like what are we doing here? And y'all can't give anything except for Joe Flacco gives us the best chance to win. Sorry, he doesn't. So that's bullshit. Now that we've got the bullshit out of the way, let's get some transparency with the fans who watch every week and support the team and everything. Let's have a little give and take here and tell us what's actually going on, because there's got to be something more than that.
Exactly, man. It's just like I think it's definitely come down to the maturity thing and just needing him to grow. But I just think that like if you're benching him for the entire season off a maturity thing, we can't keep saying the guy needs reps. Like I mean, that's blasphemy. It can't keep happening. But we got Joshua Merchant here coming in here saying Colts fans too are seeing that AR has played against some of the best defenses in the league, and the receivers have been dropping passes. We have no tight ends at all, which doesn't help. And that was another thing that Matt's not on, but he's been saying that inside of the chat as well, and I've been mentioning that too. Is that we haven't given him a chance. It's like some of the times where he's been back there, we've sat there and tried to make him a pocket passer. Or not necessarily just a pocket passer, but a majority of his plays where he's just sitting back, drop back, looking around, throw it to somebody. He's not really – we're not really using him as a mobile runner. We're not doing things schematically like moving the pocket, getting him on rollouts and boots, getting him on the move to where he can see if he has a open receiver coming down the end line, or being able to take off and run and use his superpowered legs, but rather than just this RPO scheme where he's running up the middle and getting hurt half the time.
Yeah.
We're not getting our tight ends involved over what we did last year a lot well when he was healthy in those first few games, was over the seams up the middle. Those things were open. He was hitting those. We just aren't doing a lot of things to put him in a very good position to help him be a little bit better, to help build up the confidence, things such as the completion percentage, things like that. So, and then just like you said with the drops, I mean, we got one of the highest drop percentages in the league, which is crazy and astonishing because every pretty much receiver that we have out there or tight end are all really good catch radius guys. So it's just like sometimes when you're down, you're just all the way down.
Yeah. Nothing's going right. I mean, we even look at the O-line. The O-line has been decent this year, certainly better than a couple years ago, like with the Matt Ryan year and everything. Obviously way better than that, but they're even not up to the standard, especially with Ryan Kelly making so much noise about, what is and isn't the standard. They haven't been super great in what we expect in pressure rates either. Like Anthony Richardson was getting pressured all the time. We saw Joe Flacco get sacked a couple times this past week. Like, it's like when you said, man, when it rains, it pours. Like everything has gone wrong on offense, and that's why I just go back to like it almost doesn't matter who's throwing the ball because we can't get anything right on offense. So this to me is a very huge red flag for coaching. Like this is a coaching issue that has to be fixed. I don't know if it's going to be fixed this year, but you hope so. You hope it starts to look better over the next couple of weeks, but I just don't know anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough one. It's tough to know if anything's going to get fixed because now it's like, where are you at this point? It's like you lose one more game. It's like, do you tell your team, okay, we're out of the playoff race, we're back to Anthony Richardson? Because what we've all said is like, I mean, I don't know. Like you said, we keep putting ourselves in this hole. It really gets me more irritated, like, to know that, like, you should have a plan and we don't. And it's kind of just like we're just swinging for the fences, like, until we aren't. Because as soon as you aren't, then you're just letting guys know, like DeForest Buckner, like, all right, big guy, this is another year you're not competing for a Super Bowl. We're just wasting your time. So, like,
and by the way, like, those guys aren't gonna stay. Like, they're gonna start forcing their way out if we don't figure something out. You can probably tell these vets, like, hey, this might be a year like we did to start this year. Like Jim Irsay himself said, this might be a year that has some ups and downs, but we're going to ride with our quarterback. But then when you go back on that and start flip flopping the expectations and the execution goes to shit, if I'm a vet in that locker room, I'm like looking around, about to be 4-6. Get me the fuck out of here, man. Give me some. I'm wasting my time over here. I'm wasting my career. Like I can't even be mad if some of the vets start saying shit like that. You know, how could you blame them? The franchise is setting them up for failure every week, every month, every year. It's just, man.
Yeah, if I'm a vet, I'm immediately after this season is over. Look, I'm gonna give you everything I got, but after this season is over,
I
I'm
gotta go. I
get
gotta
me out
go.
of here, trade me, um, get me to somewhere where I can compete immediately. Simple as that. And I also I've been out on Ryan Kelly for a long time. Um,
Well,
I think he's been playing well and whatnot, but it's just some of the things that he says where it's like you're really full of crap, dude. You know, he talks about the standard all the time and talks about how people should hold themselves. He talks about how he wants to get paid and stuff like that. And anytime he really speaks, it just takes me back to 2022 when Nick Foles is on the ground just writhing in pain and Kayvon Thibodeau is just doing snow angels next to him,
and no one did
and
shit.
not one person did anything. It took a trainer to go step in between Kayvon Thibodeau and Nick Foles on the ground
Yeah,
for
that's
somebody to
ridiculous.
finally say, "Oh snap, let's get him away from our player."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like I don't know what they call the standard is. We always talk about this great locker room that we have.
I question it at this point. I question the
Yeah,
locker room. I question the standard. Like, what are we talking about? It's just hot air every year about this shit. You know, oh, great character, great locker room guys. We said like I don't want to pile on Anthony Richardson right now, but we said that about Richardson, and now suddenly we're turning around talking about oh well he's got maturity issues. Well, I thought he was a great locker room character, work ethic guy. Like you know what I'm saying? It's but that's with the whole locker room. It's all these guys. Ryan Kelly now we're talking about like man, I don't get it anymore. Like, do we have a good culture? Do we have a good locker room? I don't know. I don't know. And we're not winning. So like clearly nothing's working. I just don't get it. But I
don't
do want to
think
go
so.
back though, just about Ryan Kelly. He's one of those guys that does this. And I see this attitude with honestly a lot of guys on the team where it's like we have guys that have this OG mentality, like they've won something, like they've done something in this league, like they're veterans, this, that, and the other. Nobody on our team has won a fucking thing
Yeah,
at all, dude. Like, I don't think we have any real winners on the team. I could be wrong on this. I don't know if we have anyone on the team who's been on a Super Bowl roster. I'm not positive on that. I don't think we have. I think the most experienced or the longest tenured guy right now might be Rigoberto Sanchez. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but either way, he never won anything, and he's the fucking punter. You know, DeForest Buckner came from a team that competed for Super Bowls with San Francisco. He's never won anything. We have this weird mentality with our vets and our guys that have got paid, like they've been there and done that. The reality is, you haven't been anywhere. You haven't done anything just as much as the rookies and the young guys haven't, because none of us have fucking won. Like we have no playoff wins. We have no divisional titles since forever ago. We have no Super Bowls since even longer ago, right? I was a child when we won the Super Bowl. So this whole OG mentality, the standard, the this, that, and the other, it's all hot air and it's all bullshit until we win something. So I'm really just tired of hearing stuff like that. I mean, Zaire Franklin, he's kind of worked back in my good graces with his play recently, so I'm not trying to
mm-hmm.
pile on him either. But he kind of does the same thing on his podcast where he talks like he's an OG, and it's like you're a good player. We haven't won anything, bro. So I that attitude is so frustrating me. It's like we don't have. I was talking about last week when we lost. I'm like, we don't have any dogs, man. We don't have anyone with a chip on their shoulder. We don't have anyone trying to go out and contend and compete. We have guys that got their next paycheck, and good for them. Congratulations, that's generational wealth. That's incredible. But now they act like they made it. Where'd you make it to, bro? An 8-9 team, like, and we just do it every year.
Yeah, man, it's definitely dragging, and that's another reason why I think that I said Chris Ballard has had long enough to show. We got Joshua Merchant here jumping into another part of a conversation that was said after the Colts played the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football. Josh said, I don't know if you guys heard what Kevin O'Connell told AR after the game. It's very classy and encouraging. Yes, and I actually have it right here, word for word. He said, "Hey, do me a favor and something to remember. You're a bad dude. You're going to play in this league for a long time. Go to work every day. Good things will happen for you. I still believe in you. I know those guys do. Shane does. Man, that organization loves you. Go to work. Always love, man." Um, and so, yeah, man, I thought that was a big deal. And I definitely do truly believe now that Kevin O'Connell was truly in with the Vikings on trying to get Anthony Richardson because I believe they were one of the teams that wanted to trade up and get him. We were in that draft. When we were in that draft, I know some people question and whatnot, and most information doesn't come out, as fast as we'd like to know. But there was also just a little bit more that went into that. And it's just one of those situations where you got to let a young guy grow. And I think Kevin O'Connell, man, he's been growing on me a lot ever since
Yeah.
he took the bald astronaut and had him balling that quarterback over there before he had to get rid of him. And I just think Kevin O'Connell, man, he's a real guru when it comes to quarterbacks and offenses and stuff like that. But he had this to say as well in one of his pressers because they asked him, why did he say what he said to Anthony Richardson after the game? And he said it was probably a tough week on him. I felt like in that moment I wanted to make sure I sought him out and just let him know, knowing that it was something that he would like to say to him. I know how much the organization believed in him, but it was just a little bit of an encouragement for him, keeping his head up. I just felt like in that moment he had a relationship with him going on through the pre-draft process. Just felt like it was something that I wanted to let him know how I felt, and whether it meant something to him or not didn't matter. I think it's a good thing for everybody in society to do. If you got a little ability to help somebody else in the circumstance, that maybe as they're working through it, or less than ideal. But there's a road and a path, and a rather large one, in my opinion, to have him having a very long, successful career as a quarterback. The quarterback journeys are what they are, and every single one of them are has their own story. And I just felt like if I could have an opportunity to let him know how I felt about him, and not only him and where he's at now, I think he's going to have a future. I thought it was a good moment to tell him that. I'm just a big fan, and if you have something to uplift somebody else, you might as well say it and not keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
So
you gotta love and respect that. So, I mean, especially from a great proven head coach, like a guy that really is the genius offensive play calling head coach that they call him, right? So I mean, that is encouraging to hear too. That a guy that clearly knows what he's talking about when it comes to quarterback play and everything that goes with that, that he's so high on Richardson. So I mean, that was encouraging for me as a fan to be like, all right, well, this guy knows what he's talking about, and he's in on Richardson. But it's also, I mean, you just respect stuff like that, man. I mean, by all accounts, a good dude. So I mean, yeah, nothing negative about that. That's a good interaction.
absolutely, man. Um, and so that's just another one of those things, man, where it's like where he says this organization still believes in you. I believe in you. Like it's crazy to have another coach sit there and tell you that I believe in you, and it's just like that's what you have to do to uplift your young guy. And that's why I believe a lot of the issues was just like a maturity thing. And everybody knows that he'll work through it and get through some of the stuff. But I just feel like at some point in the season, you have to go back to him with something on the line other
Yeah,
than just jobs. Like I just believe like if you believe in your guy and you want him to continue to believe that you're going to put him in position and not make him question you, like you got to show some faith in me, not to just say, "Hey, man, it's garbage time. Go do something with it now."
yeah.
Like even though
And
that is an opportunity for some, I need you to give me a little bit more than that, coach.
yeah, no kidding. And then like when we saw that whole thing, I believe like I sent it right to the chat afterwards. Like, man, I hope Shane is saying the same things behind the scenes, saying AR, bro. Like, it would be a damn shame if our quote unquote franchise quarterback, the guy who's supposed to be the franchise quarterback, is hearing shit like that from another team who just beat the tar out of us, but he's not hearing it from his own head coach. Like that would be the quickest way to run that guy out of town. So hopefully, behind all the political bullshit answers that we as fans are getting, hopefully Shane's still instilling that belief and letting AR know that he's got his back and everything. I mean, that's the best you can hope for at this point, bro.
Yeah, man. Definitely need to see more from it. Um, but man, so how we feeling? Let's go ahead and jump into this week. We have the Buffalo Bills come into town. The Buffalo Bills actually haven't won in Indianapolis since like 1994 or something like that.
Hey.
How we feeling about this week coming up?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I felt good about it, right? Like the Bills are a wagon. They're a great team. I think a lot of people, myself included, expected a step back from them this season, and it just hasn't happened. Like they've just maintained their level of output. They've maintained their high level of execution on both sides of the ball. Like it's a good team all around. Josh Allen is in that MVP conversation. I don't know where you would rank him, but he's playing on that level, right? So there's not much more you could say about the Bills. They're a great team, and they're coming to town to face us, who, let's be honest, haven't been a great team. We've been mediocre at best. So just on paper, it doesn't look great for us. Now, obviously, the fact that they haven't won in Indianapolis in so long, I mean, yeah, that's great and all. Maybe we can have our own little version of us going to Duval, them coming to us. Maybe that'll play in our favor. But man, all things considered, does not look good on paper. Now, I will say, just to pump a little optimism back in this, if we do come out and we can actually pull off a upset win against these guys tomorrow, that might put us in a different kind of perspective. I don't know. It would depend how the game went, but maybe this is where the season turns around. I don't ever want to lose that little 1% bit of hope that we can have, but yeah, on paper it doesn't look good, man. That's a wagon coming to town, and we might be in some trouble.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna say that I truly, see this as a winnable game. Just because, I wouldn't say I'm a true homer because I honestly I predict what I see just based on the actual information that I have, and I think that we really do have the team that could have beaten pretty much anybody that we've played this season. As you
I
guys can
agree.
see, we haven't lost a game by more than more than one score. With our largest deficit of loss being 8 points. Um, yeah, man, it's just a tough one just because the road that I see that we're on. Um, Last time we were in Buffalo, JT went absolutely crazy, scored 5 touchdowns. Um, I don't know if we necessarily get that. I
It would
do
be
like our
nice.
matchup being a little bit better because as we got here, I think Ash is saying here that Keon Coleman did not is not playing. I also believe that Amari Cooper is not playing. I believe so. So I do kind of like the matchups if we can kind of take advantage of some things. Their defense isn't all that great. They're kind of middle of the pack. They're kind of rebuilding their defense. So it's another game where I believe we have an opportunity where we can get something done. But
Sure.
it again would not surprise me to be another week that we are let down.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here saying we're going to get blown out. It's like you said, we haven't got blown out all season. We just have never, even in our wins, have never played up to our expectations. I feel like, and I think tomorrow's another day of that, man. I think it's going to be another ugly game. Uh, to give us some credit, I do think we're good at pulling teams down into our ugliness. Like we'll have an ugly game and we'll make them play just as ugly. Like every Colts game, if you're just a casual fan, it's probably terrible to watch, man. There are some ugly games sometimes. So there's a possibility of that happening. We kind of just drag them down into a little bit of a dogfight, but um, yeah, I really don't know about. Again, I don't think we get blown out, but I don't see us winning this either. I think it's just another ugly loss. Although in true Colts fashion, the most iconic thing that the Colts could do, as they always do, would be to win this one big and like instill some fake belief in us, and then go on the next week and go shit the bed again. Like that'd just be the most Colts thing that they could do.
Yeah, man, it's tough to say. Again, I do kind of like our ability to match up. It's not like they got some guy that can kind of break the game open. I
Sure.
don't believe they're one of the better running teams. So I think that, that kind of matches in our favor. Although I do not like the type of running back that James Cook is. We usually struggle with those. Um, as far as being the multi threat back,
Mm.
running, catching, doing all that stuff, being able to
Make kills.
get around. Um, but again, man, I just think that this is a matchup that we could get something done here. As much as I want us to go back to Anthony Richardson, um, I can never be that fan, nor will I ever be that fan unless we are tanking for a quarterback. Um, I would never be that fan that can sit here and tell you I'm hoping for a Colts loss or
Well, I'm the
like
same way. Yeah.
it's just it's tough to believe in that. So I do see a great chance that we could, upset the Buffalo Bills. Just like plenty of people, I think. Actually, I want to say like 2% of people picked us to beat them when we did last time we played them. So, I don't think it's something totally out of the ordinary. I think it's really good
Yeah.
matchup. Only thing is like I said, they do got James Cook over there. If they make it ugly for us on defense, if we played how we played against Minnesota, as far as offensively, I thought your pet behind you had a mask on. I thought it was a mask on. Thought the ear was like a screen mask or something. Hilarious, caught me off
Kind of
guard.
looks like it, huh?
Yeah. So I just think it's a matchup that we can kind of take advantage of. And we just can't let Josh Allen go bonkers.
Yeah.
Do what he doing. Josh Allen's an alien. So if we can kind of control that, I think we might have
Yeah. Anything can happen at that point. I mean, that's obviously the key to the game, right? Is find a way to shut down Josh Allen. But it kind of the same story as how we talk about Justin Jefferson. There's guys in this league that you can play good defense, and sometimes it doesn't matter. Like if the offensive player is that talented, and we face guys that are on that level, sometimes you just have to do your best to contain them, right? And Josh Allen is one of those guys. So hopefully we can go in tomorrow. We can have some kind of game plan that limits what he's able to do. But I don't think you can ever really shut a guy down like that. I was really shocked with that Houston game. They did kind of shut Josh Allen down. So credit to them. I mean, that's a good pass defense. But I don't think we'll be able to. I don't think we have the same kind of strength there.
Hey, I've been throwing that one around on Twitter too.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
maybe
We were
the
quiet
Buffalo
about that,
Bills.
huh?
Maybe the Buffalo Bills should go with a backup quarterback because the Houston Texans' lowest passing percentage that they held somebody to this year.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
no,
credit where it's due. Credit where it's due.
The Houston Texans' lowest passing percentage that they held somebody to was Josh Allen's 30%, which was less than Anthony Richardson. So
Yeah, hey.
I just be
Just
throwing little
saying.
stuff out
Just
there.
saying.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We talking about who should be benched. What I'm
Hey,
talking about.
C.J. Stroud had a stinker a couple weeks ago too, and
Yep, he sure
nobody
did.
said they should go to Davis Mills.
I threw that one out there too. Like, hey, Houston might want to think about Davis Mills for the future because
Yeah. Hey, he gives them the best chance to win now, right? Like,
hey, that completion percentage is everything.
oh man, yeah, I tell you what. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep going back to it. Like, obviously, Richardson wasn't winning us games either, so I'm not sitting here saying that. But yeah, I mean, what a ridiculous position for our franchise to put us in, man. And we're the only ones doing it, and we're doing it to ourselves. So I can't get over it.
Yeah, man. It's just like so. It's like I think we're if you're the type of person who loves to be positive, we got two positions to be in here. Joe Flacco goes out there and be Joe Cool and gets a win, or he stinks it up and we possibly go back to Anthony Richardson so we can finally figure out what our plan is going to be. So
either way, you gotta find that silver lining. Yeah,
that's me. Either way, find a way to enjoy Colts football.
Sure.
However you can figure that out. If you even need to turn the TV off and go outside to the park with your family or whatever you do, it's winter's here. I don't know if you guys got skiing nearby, some snow, whatever you got to do. You could just check on the scores and say, okay, there it is, put it away. Whatever you got to do, find a way to enjoy.
Just get through it.
Closer.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. Yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, though. I do think tomorrow, like, if I was a Bills fan looking at this game, I'd say this is a trap game, right? They're coming to our house. It's a team that has something to prove, has to try to get back in this playoff race. So all the makings of an upset are there, but I think we just know, having watched the Colts every week, it's like I said, like, man, we kind of know what to expect with this offense or with this defense because they can't decide who's going to be good on any given week. So it's kind of hard to go into the game with any expectation of winning. But I can see the makings of the upset are there. Like I'm not saying we're going to get blown out by any means. It's just it's tough to predict that after what we see week in week out.
I was just about to say this is one of those games where we're like, okay, yeah, our defense balled out last week, and then they come into this game, and then next thing you know, we can't stop a cold, and
Yeah,
our offense is booming, and
we're so
defense is like,
inconsistent, man.
we have yet to play a complimentary football game like at all year.
For
So,
years, bro. For years, I feel like it's been so long since the last time I could look
I
at a
want to say
game and say,
that Bills game last time we played them,
well, yeah,
I think the Bills scored like 10, maybe was it 10 points? Damn, can't remember.
maybe that was the last one then, man. Like it's man, it feels like that's been a problem that's plagued this team for years now. Is that we don't play complimentary ball. It's always one side of the team trying to win the game for us, and the other side is shit in the bed. And I mean, I'd be crazy if I said I didn't expect the same thing tomorrow. It's just going to be which side shows up. But I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. So obviously, like I'm still hoping for a win. Like we said, I'm never going to hope for a close loss. I believe the makings of the upset are there. But I think my official prediction would have to be kind of a heartbreaker. I could see us losing this game with one of those weird scores, like 21-18 or some shit. Like we just have a lot of field goals or something. You know, maybe that's our silver lining. Is maybe tomorrow Matt Gay looks like the Matt Gay of old, and he goes and hits 5 field goals. That'd be encouraging at least. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I think I don't know. At this point, wins or losses don't really matter to me too much. Obviously, I'm not going to root for a close loss. I just want to see a plan. Like, what's our plan? Like,
Yeah.
I want to know what
Let's
we're
get an
doing with
identity,
our
man.
rookie young quarterback. Like, hey, if you guys are moving on from Anthony Richardson, okay, Ballard, you're gone. Everybody, you're gone. Let's get ready to rebuild.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
see what the plan is. Okay, AR, you're back. Like, I want to know what the plan is. I like to be able to see some type of vision.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's the scary part too, though, because it's like we don't even know if there is a plan anymore. Because it seemed like we had a plan until the Houston game, and then we just kind of took that plan and threw it out, and now we're just in a figure it out mode. And I don't get it anymore. So not to
yeah,
cut you
and
off, but yeah,
that's
I don't even know what the plan is anymore.
no, I totally get it. That's exactly what I mean. Like I just need a plan for us to get back to. I could see this game going anyway. I could see it being 30-13 Bills. I could see it 21-17 Colts. Um, like
Flacco will either have 300 yards and 3 touchdowns or 120 and 2 picks. Like there's no in between there. And that's
yeah,
exactly what our offensive performance will be.
yeah, man. So it's a tough one to try and get past. Um, I have our wins and losses here for Zach and Damon and myself before the season. Damon and Zach both had wins. Before the season started, I had us taking the loss either way. Just didn't think it was going to be something that would be matching up well for us. Um, but yeah, I'm going to probably keep that same prediction. We know Zach has pretty much changed his predictions for this next
Sure.
couple weeks that we had here. Anyway, as far as everything that he's seen that the franchise has been doing. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna I gotta keep that as a loss. I can't. I'm not really gonna give you guys a prediction though, just because you know where my heart is at, what I want this team to do. You know, you guys know I can't. It's tough for me to predict the Colts loss. But where my brain is at, I want Anthony Richardson back in there just because I
We
just
got
would
it. Yeah.
rather see him play it through. Like,
Yeah.
let's figure it the fuck out. Like, that's what I'm ready for. Tired of the clown show stuff. Tired of looking like a goofy franchise. Tired of giving the NFL community something to laugh about every year. Like,
Yeah. You're not
let's
wrong.
just figure out. We drafted this guy. Let's figure it out.
Yeah,
or
just let him
everybody can
play.
get out.
Let him play. It's gonna be ugly. Let him play. Cool. I don't care. Like at least then we know, right? At least let's say Anthony Richardson went through the entire season and only got worse every week. Okay, cool. Then we can make a decision from there of like, hey, maybe this isn't the guy. Maybe we need to now make a quarterback change and go get somebody in the offseason. Or is it something that you feel like can be fixed? Either way, at that point, you can make a decision and have all that tape and all those statistics and all of that to back that decision up. Now it's an informed decision.
And see, and the
Now we're
reason
just
you do
pulling
that
the
as
guy.
well, and the reason you do that as well is like you said, is even if he gets worse every single week, guess what? You end up with a top 3 pick.
Yeah, yeah.
Boom.
Now,
You got
granted, all the
another guy to
quarterbacks in
come
this
in.
class kind of
I
suck,
mean,
but we could figure something out.
I'm not even just saying QB. I'm just saying like you have the chance
Yeah,
to help this roster that don't have, like the immense talent to be able to change games.
yeah,
So boom, you got another top 3 pick, and then say you go back and you run it back with them by this third year. Now you can finally
you got a
say like, look,
chance.
his first year was taken away. His second year he stunk. His third year he either stunk again or he figured it out, which means you would also probably end up again with another top 5 pick, or
Yeah,
you end up with your guy. So
yeah,
like that's what I'm saying. Just go with it and figure it out.
yeah.
Joe
And
Flacco
that's
does nothing for us but shows us, hey, can quarterbacks 39 and older still play? That's
and then,
it.
yeah, that's what like I said when the decision was made. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it this game and we'll see what happens. And we've seen what happened. Like there's no point in continuing this experiment. I know Shane is not calling it an experiment. He said it's a season long thing. I totally disagree. Uh, but for some reason that's where we're at. But yeah, I we're taking away the reps. We're taking away the ability to make an informed decision about the future of our franchise. And we're doing it to ourselves. Not us, but like the franchise is doing it to itself. So I just don't get it anymore. I don't get it at all. But we go on, we go play them all.
Hey, Colts
Maybe
fans,
maybe they're right. Maybe they're right this week. Maybe Joe Flacco gives us the best chance to win them all. I don't know.
Colts fans doing it too. People been fighting in the comments. Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco, and then they get Joe Flacco and they're like, okay, ABAR wasn't the problem.
No
so,
offense, man. Yeah, neither
uh,
quarterback is a problem. It's just
so Shane, figure it out. We are a running team. Let's figure it out with whoever's in there. We are a running team. Run the ball. Let's get after it.
just give me
But yeah,
20
man.
carries. Just 20 carries. That's attainable. I know we asked for 25, 30. I've resigned. That's never going to happen.
Give me
18 to 20
45.
carries.
Give
Yeah,
me
I agree.
45.
But we
Give
know
me
it's not going to
45.
happen. Give me 20 and I'll be like, all right, maybe something's changed around here. Man, just give me that, dude.
Give me 45.
We could run
run,
JT all day and
run the ball.
I'd be with it, dude. Just follow
I
56.
mean, not just him. Run JT, run Goody, run Sermon, run everybody. Put AR in there. Give him a goddamn reverse.
Yeah.
Give him the
Let him
give
play
him a
that Taysom Hill
wishbone.
ball.
Give him a wishbone. Something.
It's fine. That's fine.
Get creative. Show that we are not just going to sit and drop back and let teams get after us.
Four verts.
Let's be the aggressor.
Yeah, I hope so, man.
But yeah, there you guys have it, man. Your boy Leroy, Trev. We both predicted a Colts loss here. Sorry, guys. We obviously want a Colts win. We will never be mad about that. But we do just think this Buffalo Bills team is just better at this current time being in our current situation. So we hope that the front office, AR, Shane Steichen, everybody can figure it out, get on the same page again. And let's get back to what we want to see from the Colts, man. We all want to have some glory days again. This has been a real rough patch for us now.
For years.
For the time being.
It's an era now. It's not patch anymore. It's an era.
I mean, I just think it's a patch because with every quarterback, it ain't an era.
Just the whole Ballard era is just man.
Okay, yeah. If you
but
call
that's
Ballard,
another conversation.
Yeah, if you call it Ballard definitely got his error.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So appreciate everybody who came through the comments. I'm not sure if you guys can see the names that were here in the comment list. Hope that you guys could because I can see it on mine, but just couldn't see it up here. But appreciate everybody. We'll try and get all the guys back for next week. But hopefully Colts go out there and get us a win next week. Appreciate everybody. As
Shout out
always,
ZTV.
yeah, shout out to ZTV and those guys. Go Colts.
Second down, he fakes the Taylor, fires over the middle, completes.